In this episode, we're going to be looking at the top 10 destinations of African immigrants. And we are zeroing in on the top 10 destinations outside of Africa that African immigrants typically find themselves. Top 10. There are many, but these are the top 10 that we're just going to be looking at. The main destinations, as we would say, these main destinations for Africans who leave the shores of Africa for better life, greener pasture, what have you, the predominant places that they find themselves in are Europe and North America. There are many others, Asia and the rest, but the predominant place that African immigrants typically would find themselves is in these two areas. And it's driven purely by a few factors. These kind of migrations are driven by a few factors. And the first one is economic opportunities. Everybody wants to have economic freedom, right? So economic opportunity. And it translates itself into lack of job prospects in their home countries and many others, right? So that's the first block, economic opportunities. The second one is educational prospects. A lot of African immigrants travel outside to go to school, to further their education, all of us included, to go to school, better their prospects, their career prospects by further education. Then the third one is historical ties. So for lack of so let me rephrase it. Instead of historical ties, I'll say colonial ties. So there are countries that certain African countries migrate to other European or North American nations because there's a colonial tie. Okay, so we are going to look at this in detail in the ascending order. We're going to look at the countries in the top 10. We're going to start with number 10 and then all the way to number 1. So stay with me as we jump deep into this. All right, so drum roll. Let's look at the very first one. So number 10 on the list is the country of Australia. Australia is number 10. There are about 200,000 African immigrants that live in Australia. And these people are typically drawn by economic opportunities and quality of life. And they are all sorts. So from the very north of Africa to the bottom of the south of Africa, almost every country is represented in Australia. You know, the number is about 200,000. Okay, so that's number 10. Now let's jump to number 9. Number 9 is the Netherlands. So Netherlands has about 200,000 African immigrants as well. And yes, although there's a wide representation of Africans as well, there are a lot of West Africans and Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, Cameroonians, and what have you in the Netherlands. But 2 blocks of African immigrants stand out tall in the Netherlands. That is Morocco and Somalia. They have a disproportionate representation of African immigrants in the Netherlands. Okay, so now let's jump to number 8. Number 8 is the country of Germany. So Germany hosts around 300,000 African immigrants, and it's growing. The number keeps growing because of their recent, I would say, immigration policy or policy that reflects its need for labor, right? Because of its growing labor needs and diversity. So it's growing. And once again, Germany too, the type of African immigrants there are just all across the board. All across the board, there's countries all over. Right. So that takes us to number 7. Number 7 is the country of Cristiano Ronaldo, if you follow football. And that is the country of Portugal. Portugal has approximately there are about 360,000 African immigrants that reside in Portugal. And many of these are from nations with historical colonial ties. So you're talking of Portuguese-speaking African countries like Angola and Mozambique. So these are going to be the main countries. There will be others, but these are the predominant blocks of African immigrants in Portugal. Then the next one is the country of Spain, the football darling Spain. So Spain has approximately 400,000 African immigrants there. And once again, with significant numbers from Morocco and other sub-Saharan African countries. There are representations all over, Nigeria as well, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Zimbabwe, they're all there. But the biggest block are the Moroccan brothers and sisters. So number 5 on our list is the cold and nice country of Canada. That's in North America, Canada. Canada is home to about 600,000 African immigrants, and they are attracted purely by their immigration policies and job prospects, right? So a lot of people go to Canada to further their education and also look for jobs. And recently, Canada had a program that attracted a lot of highly skilled Africans into their country. So they are number 5 at 600,000. Let's look at number 6. Number 6 is amazing country of Italy, where you can find all sorts of pasta and all those kind of, Alfredo sauce and all those things there. It's Italy. So I like their meatballs, by the way. So Italy has about 600,000 African immigrants, many arriving via the Mediterranean migration route. These we see them all over the news, all over and over and over. Boatloads of people that it's sad to see, but that's the reality. So Italy is home to many Africans and is driven in part by the Mediterranean migration thing that has been going on over the past couple of years. That's number 4. Hey, I'm so glad you're watching this episode. I want to take a short break from this conversation. Firstly, did you know that about 90% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed? Which means there's a high chance you are not subscribed. So if you hit the subscribe button, that will be awesome. That will mean the world to me. It will encourage me to keep churning out quality content like this one. Secondly, if you're an African diaspora professional or an African business person, maybe even an entrepreneur, did you know that your greatest break could just be one connection away? That is why we've created a platform called Find Diaspora Experts, a private online community for African diaspora professionals and African business leaders, just to collaborate and share ideas. So if you are a diaspora professional, imagine transforming your global expertise into direct impact on the continent. So there's no more watching from the sidelines. Our community will provide you with an ability to network with your peers and other business leaders. You also gain the ability to get matched with client projects. You have access to continent-wide investment opportunities, the ability to create and sell your own cohort-based training programs. Likewise, if you are an African business leader or entrepreneur, you are no longer limited by local talent pool. By joining this curated community of experts, you gain access to world-class global African talent. You also gain access to innovative solutions from professionals with international perspectives. You get a chance to participate in our themed forum discussions. This isn't just a network, it's actually a movement. We are bridging the gap between Africa and its diaspora talent. So whether you are an investment banker from Wall Street or an entrepreneur in Nairobi, Kenya, or a business leader in Cape Town, this community is for you. So use the link in the description below to join this community. Join us. Let's connect, let's collaborate, and let's transform Africa. Now let's jump right back into the conversation. Thank you. So let's look at number 3. Number 3 is the country of Mr. Mbappe. That's France. France, there's approximately 1 million African immigrants that reside in France. many from former French colonies, such as Algeria, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Senegal, Congo, the two Congos, the countries that actually are French speaking, right? So all these, that is where most African migrants that land in France, that's where they are from. So that was number 3. So we are jumping in number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list is the great nation of United Kingdom. UK hosts around 1.5 million immigrants. Primarily, it's also influenced by colonial ties as well. They shape the demographic of the African immigrant in UK is also shaped by that. So primarily Nigeria and Ghana. And these migrations are influenced by colonial connections or historical connections and economic opportunities, job opportunities, and also education. A lot of people go to UK to further their studies. So that's number 2. Now let's roll to see number 1. Number 1 is the big one, United States of America. So the United States is the largest destination for African immigrants, with approximately 2.1 million individuals, particularly from the countries of Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Ghana. But frankly, every African country is represented in the United States, no matter where they are, particularly in the East Coast, the West Coast, even in the South, like Texas and Florida and all those places. There are a lot of Africans, but actually the East Coast trumps them all. So New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, all those places, even Chicago, California as well. There are a lot of Africans there. So United States is number 1 destination for African immigrants. All right, if you found this video useful, I would like you to subscribe and click on the notification button so that anytime I drop something of value, content of value like this, you'll be notified. All right, peace. See you soon.